welcome back. Welcome back to the Code of the West. And today, in this live, I have my ground seat in. The other day I was blocking my ground seat, putting in my blocks to block my ground seat, get my stirrup leather slot, put my ground in. But today we're doing a fork cover. So I already put the fork cover in place, but it's not on. It's a long way from being on. But I wanted to show you guys, for those of you that watch my channel, how you get to the spot where you would put your fork cover on, and what are a few of the steps to get to this point. Well, first you got to cut out your fork cover. Now this is the fork cover for the saddle behind me, so it's rough out, but this is basically your fork cover pattern. And how you get this pattern is you take your tape measure and you measure. Put this up here like this so you can kind of see it. You measure down here, basically from this edge bar to the other side. That's around 22 inches. And then you go through your handhold and you go around till it meets. That's about 13 inches. It doesn't have to be exact, it just has to be close. So this fork cover would be about 22 inches by 13 inches. This is 12, it'll work, because you're going to cut off quite a bit. I already cut this out, so I already made sure it worked. 21 inches, it'll be fine. It'll work. And so how you find your horn on a fork cover, where you're going to put your horn, you bend it over. Make sure you got the front and back. Your flat spot on your fork cover is the front. Your back's kind of this round piece here. Or I should say, the flat spot is the front here. The round spot is the handhold area. So how you get your measurement is you stick this out. Now this is going to be it's going to be a rawhide roll. So it's not going to roll under and tack. Stick it out there, go about 1.5 inches in front of the gullet. Stick it back here. It's about perfect. Then you mark the center. Then you have on your center mark, you take your compass, and you figure out how big your horn is, like so. And then you divide that in half. You do it on a piece of leather. You find the half one, your radius, I should say. Find your radius, and then you make a circle, and you cut it out, which is what I did on this fork cover. I cut it out, and you got a little round piece. On this horn, I'm lucky, because I didn't have to slit it to get it over my horn. On that horn, I'll have to slit it and lace that up later. Then you put it on here and put a nail on each side of your fork, just on your tree bar, just about a 1/2 inch low of where your fork intersects with your tree bar. You stretch your leather over so it's nice and tight across the top of your gullet, and tack it again on the other side. Then you come back here, and here you pull your leather down, kind of push it over here. You want about a finger's width, a little bit bigger than a finger, right here, of gap in your handhold. 2 nails. Let's see, where's my hammer? It's right here. Take your tack hammer that we talked about the other day. Get that into place. Now make sure that you don't put your nail up on your fork, because you got to hide that spot with your seat. So I like to come down here almost to the end of my plug, my block that I put in there. Drop it down low enough that my seat can cover it. Tack that in. I'll spin this around so you guys can kind of see, hopefully see. And I'll take my cowboy hat off so you guys can kind of see. Okay. You want it about there. Just so that it'll tack. Then you take your doorknob, push it down, push in your handhold. Get that down exactly how you need it. Then you take your awl. You can use a nail or a sharpened screwdriver, or if you have a fit awl, you can use a fit awl. Tip your tree up, and from the underside, you mark with your fit awl your handhold. You can use a pin too on this, because it's the underside. It's not going to bleed through. So maybe so you guys can see it, I will use a pin so you can kind of see what's going on here. You can use a pencil too. So that's that. Now, on this part, take your awl and mark along your gullet or the top of your fork. Mark your tree bar where it intersects. This line is very, very important, so make sure you get it nice and smooth. Mark it down. Mark your tree bar. Got to have that intersection on there. It pays to take your time in this process. Make sure you got it good, because once it comes off, you don't want to have to put it back on to get your line. Take a look at that. Make sure your line's exactly the same all the way around. I was having trouble with my service earlier, so I hope you guys can hear me. I hope it stays on long enough. It's we had some nice weather nicer weather for a little while. It warmed up to 40 degrees. Now it's 20 degrees, and tomorrow it's supposed to be a high of -19 here in beautiful state of Montana. Okay, so we got that. So basically a fork cover is put on, take off, put on, take off. And then put on again. So, put that nail in there a little too far. Take a plier. It makes a big difference when you use these nails. Now these are a blued nail. They're kind of hard to find. You can use a wire nail, but you probably wonder what this white stuff is that is coming off on my nails. Maybe I'll put one close to the camera. Hold on here. Find a good one. You can see it has white stuff on it. Yes, I dip all of my nails in paraffin wax so that I can nail them in, and then the paraffin allows me to be able to pull them back out again. So very handy and saves on aggravation and ruining a whole bunch of nails all the time. If you just get yourself a little heat pot like a candle and Dip them in paraffin, let them dry. Comes in very handy when blocking your skirts too. So that's that. Now let's see about getting this fork cover off of here. Got it on. Hope I can get it off. We'll get it off. One way or another, we'll get it off. Get it up over that. Might have to wet it again. Kind of let it sit on there. Fix this little problem. Hold on a sec. This is called a drawdown strap. You will need one of these when building a saddle. I built my own. Comes in very handy, especially when you don't want your saddle to move. Okay. Lock my stand. This is a dentist chair, is what this stand is. Made by Ritter. Almost forgot the name. Ritter. A lot of guys use barber chairs. I got this horn on here, but I can't really get it off. I gotta wet this again. Hold on. If you have to, sometimes pays to put a fit-all in there and kind of pop it up over that horn a little bit. It's not going to ruin your fork cover if you do. It just gets it started. Ah, there we go. Came off. Good thing we used a pin in that handhold. Okay, so now you got your pin in your handhold. So there's your handhold marks. There's the mark you did on the front. Okay, so where this is going to be rawhide roll, you would make with your compass. Where's my compass? There it is. I'm going to turn this. Hopefully I don't lose service doing so. I'm going to turn it over there where I'm working. You would make your compass, set it to 1/2 inch, and mark on the front all the way down to where your tree bars intersect the line of your gullet. And you will cut on that line. You'll cut your fork cover off right there. Now, in the handhold, what I like to do is I take one of my stab awls. Now, you can get these stab awls at Weaver. You can get them at Montana Leather. They're Osborne. They're by C.S. Osborne. So, just look, they're really handy. And I have a whole bunch of them. So, they're not that expensive. But what you do is you have your intersection right there, but you want enough to lap over when you cut this. So what I do is I put a mark right there, but then I come down and I actually put a mark about almost 1/4 inch lower. So if this is towards your handhold, this is the upper part, you would put your mark right here, down from your corner. intersection, about 1/4 of an inch. And you'll stab that all the way through to the other side. And you can stab it through pretty easy with just your hand. So now, those holes, I don't know if you can see them right there. Right there. Now they're right there. So you take a number 10 punch, and I should have grabbed that earlier. Okay, here we go. You take a number 10 punch, also made by Osborne, but you can get them from other companies. Weaver Leather makes a really good one, Master Tools. It's a number 10. Actually, this is a number 12. Never mind. It is 5/16 of an inch. You take your maul. And I'm going to mark these so you can see them. The whole point is to make sure that when your fork cover wraps through this handhold, when your fork cover wraps through, that you want your fork cover to come all the way down. So I can move this tree around to show you guys. What you want is when your fork cover comes over, you want it to come all the way down and come all the way down to here, to cover all the way down to here. Now it's very important. As you can see, I did my strainer plate cover splashed up all the way to here and to here. But it's very important that you get your fork cover to come all the way down to there. You don't want to see any tree. It looks cleaner that way. Saddle makers build saddles for other saddle makers. You're going to have somebody grading your work. You don't want to disappoint the teacher. Okay. We got that done. Take your head knife, if you have a head knife. And what you'll want to do, I'll do one, and then I'll show you. Okay. So you want to, there's your hole. So you cut on this side first, and you cut out like that in an arc, and then you cut this into your line. On this one, you'll come this way, and then cut this into the arc. Pick your piece up. Cut on your 1/2 inch line. You want to cut all the way down to where your tree bar is. Okay, so that's what your fork cover will look like after you cut on your line. This part, you have to put your fork cover back on, fold this through your handhold, and then mark how far it goes under. I'll do that in just a minute. Turn this back here. Kind of see. Oops. Okay. So we got that where we want it. Get this through your handhold. Pick it up. Flip these ears. Then just take your thumb. Make sure you got these ears where you want them. End up skiving that too. Take your thumb, and you want, so here's the end of your gullet. So you want about pretty close to there. So I didn't leave myself a lot of room here, but I rarely do. So make a mark. Kind of go out to your edges there. Then take it off again. It's easier that time. Okay, so we have that mark, which is pretty close to the top of that. So I'm just going to leave it at the top of that. But before you do that, you're going to have to French edge. It's another tool. You need to get yourself. Um, I'm losing service, folks. The storm is hitting again. Sorry about that. There we go. That's service again. So you'll French edge that. Then you skive so it's nice and smooth and tapers really good. And then you'll take a ½ inch punch and punch out ½ inch with a number 4 punch in between each one. And maybe I better save that for another video because I'll get one for you and then I'll show you. And then I'll finish my fork cover. But okay. Okay. So this is what you're trying to accomplish. You're trying to get that nice and thin there so that when you wrap it through your handhold, it's nice and smooth. Let's try punching these. I'm working on getting better service in here. A friend of mine has Starlink, so he said it's great, so that's probably the route I'll go. Quit. Cats. Those are my mouse killers in the shop. Keep making noise. Okay, so in between each one of your 1/2 inch rounds, you want to do a number 4 punch. This is also by Osborne, but you can get them anywhere. And this is a 1/2 inch English round. I'm only going to do one of these so I can show you what it does. And then I'll end the live, so I don't lose all you guys. But that's what you want to do all the way across the top of this until you run out of leather. So that's what I'm working on today on this saddle. And then I'm putting rawhide on it. And you want to cut your rawhide, when you do a rawhide roll, you'll want to cut it at probably 4 inches so that you have enough room to roll it around there. But just let me know if you have any questions. Leave them down in the comments or send me an email, sterling@stingsaddlery.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions. And I'll let you guys go.